And we don't have any petitions, which leads us to Peter Ryan. Are you here, Peter? Come on up. So that's item number 6.
Right, good morning everyone. This is the first performance report of the new triennium for you as a governance group. ELT has been providing oversight during the election period. I'm going to focus on the table, the summary table, and just step you through that. There hasn't been a dramatic change, but just give an overview. Levels of service are still high, above target, and continue to be supported by the team. We think we might even squeeze a little bit more this year. That's working well. Watchlist and non-watchlist delivery, now I stress delivery, not spend, below target. A lot of that's driven out of Three Waters, but Paul's report will have the detail on that. It's better for him to speak to it. The 2 planning goals, planning capital, of course you need to plan if you want to make it happen. They're both very close to target, and I believe they'll get there. That's been the pattern in previous years, so I think they'll be fine. Value for money, look, overall the organisation's on track financially. This is about the pieces of budgets that are not. What we're doing is learning from those about whether it's a real world issue, like we've struck difficulties and headwinds, or a budgeting issue that the budget wasn't planned well. And so that differs from activity to activity, but the finance guys are working on that. Okay, the objective is that they are all on track every year. It isn't always feasible for that to happen. I stress that overall we're fine. And capital delivery within approved budget, we're at the -10, but I should give a shout out to Paul and the PMO team for the work they've been doing on deliverability. At your workshop last week, you'll have noticed that the proposal there, the rephasing, is extensive to bring us down towards the deliverable goal. That's of course to be yet to be approved in the draft annual plan. We're still on track, we think we're on track with you to have a draft annual plan signed off in the middle of February, and then based on conversations with Mary and Bede, launch straight into the draft LTP development right through 26, starting as soon as the annual plan is out the door. So we're prepping for that actively now. There won't be a big break, we'll be kicking straight into it.
Hey, thank you very much for that, Peter. That we take that on board. Before I go to questions, I just have one, and it's literally on that last point, just around the LTP. So, letter of expectation from council, is that where is that at in terms of? I know we issue it to you, but you usually do a bit of the grunt work and then we refine it.
Well, F&P before the election and Audit and Risk have both done quite a bit of work around how the process should go. But there's 2 parts. There's your political priorities, which is always done by the councillors, and then there's process, which has largely been already addressed by F&P and ARMC. Yep. So obviously the letter comes from council, but staff tend to develop a starting straw man, start off at 10. Yep. We can't really launch into the LTP without that letter, because we need to understand what you want and also how you want the process to run. So yep. a draft needs to happen.
So what do we do?
Through you, we would work something up once we feel we've got sufficient direction about what might be in that letter of expectation, bring it forward for it to be then considered by the committee and agreed and put back to us, and that'll be either at the end of this year or the beginning of next year.
So is that something we can leave with you guys?
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That one's actually from the mayor, isn't it?
It's signed through.
Well, yeah, but it's agreed by
the
council.
council.
Council vote on it.
That's correct.
Yes, council vote and the mayor signs it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because there's probably no point the organisation doing a heap of work on different bits if we haven't given that direction. So,
that's right.
Yep. Okay. Cool. Aaron had a question, I think.
Yeah. So just looking at the chart on page 12, when performance by activity, and I was just flicking through them, Peter, and I got a bit of a surprise at the biggest one, ahead of transport and sewage and water and everything else. And unless this is a misprint, but digital. What's digital?
That's the IT component. That's the IT activity.
So it's massively bigger than we spend on roading, or libraries, or sewage, or water. I think something's wrong here.
Which
It's
page?
an eye-watering number.
Page 12.
It's page 12. It's nearly twice what we spend on roads.
Remember,
we-
these are OPEX budgets, not CAPEX.
Yeah.
So we spend a lot more CAPEX on roads than we do with OPEX.
If I can, through you, Chair, to your question, Councillor Kieran, you might recall last year we switched from CAPEX to OPEX, a lot of the digital spend, and that's why now it's reflected in that. So almost all of the digital spend is operational spend, whereas previously a reasonable portion of it had been capital.
Yeah, but it's still money you're spending every single year, or is this expected to drop? Are we just
No,
this
that would.
is this a
through
blip
you.
because we're all forced to get new iPads and stuff?
I don't think it's driven by iPads, but
Through you again, Mr. Chair, no, that would be, by the time we take our software licensing, and I can't quite recall the figures, but it would be, it's in, it's tens of millions of dollars. The staff costs, the development costs
Right.
and hosting and so on, that would be it, but we can, if you like, bring back
But
some more information on that.
I, like a lot of people, fell into that trap in the 90s and early 2000s that computers were going to make our lives a lot cheaper and more efficient.
So that's a good. So
we're
the
happy to come
good
back
point. So the team will come back with
with
some
something
information,
on that.
and I think there's been some queries following the annual plan as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it'll
or
be
during the annual
good to
plan.
know why that number is so much bigger than all the others.
Yep.
Yeah, we can bring back, or we can provide some
And there might be
analysis
good
on
reason, just
Yeah.
I don't get it. No, so if
Happy
I
to
don't get it, I'm
provide that
thinking half the
analysis.
ratepayers don't either.
It might be good to get a comparison, just to make sure we're on track with other
Absolutely. Yep.
Actually, that'd be good to know too. Yeah. Well, that won't do that, but might
And
numb
we
the
can
pain.
certainly provide it. The comparison might take a bit longer.
All right.
Yeah,
But we can
yeah,
provide
that's
the
good.
info.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Anything else from anyone? Yanni?
Yeah, thank you. So just to start on the page 16, so we've got a remedial action. We're working with Te Mata Arawai on determining a pathway to compliance. It's around being compliant with the new drinking water rules. And then there's obviously some comment in there, but can we just get in very simple terms an understanding of, we had the regulator talk to us at a workshop, we did the age testing, we were told that there would be some further work before the end of the year, and then we would be able to understand what our pathway to an exemption was. Can someone just in simple terms tell us where we are at with that process, what the next steps are for us seeking an exemption?
Councillor, I
Brent.
can answer that. The Three Waters are already prepping a workshop for councillors to go through where we're at with that and the water service delivery plan implementation. So they'll bring it all back to you in the near future. I haven't got a time on it yet. We have been working with Te Mata Arawai on the protozoa compliance, which is on track for compliance next month. It had to be done by December 2025. The rest of the work is just continual compliance with the regulatory standards, but we will bring a briefing back to council.
Is that likely to be before the end of the year?
I don't think it'll be before Christmas, but it'll be early in the new year.
Right, okay. The second question I had was in regards to the wastewater inspections, and I'll just turn to the page. So if you look at page 19, where we've got, we're at 68% of a greater than 80% target, and it talks about an existing multi-year CCTV contract in place, but then it also talks about investigating provision of additional funding for increasing the amount to be carried out within the existing contract. Should we not, I'm just trying to understand, like, could we pass a resolution today to allocate that funding so that that work happens? Or what's the process for that being considered? It just seems to me like where we're not meeting a target and we need additional budget, there needs to be a decision made as to whether we want to put the budget on to meet the target
I think
Oh,
Brent's
or not.
got some more.
Yeah, councillor, so I've had meetings with the heads of service this month on those levels of service that are showing amber and what can be done to lift those. The additional CCTV work, it's about reprioritising some of the existing spend because it helps us to target not only our OPEX but also our capital program. So that's already underway, but as I say, Gavin can bring you back that information in that briefing.
Okay, I think that would be helpful. And just in the same vein, I noticed in previous reports we did have an issue with IT and the backflow register, but that appears to have been resolved now, which is really good news. So just to get assurance really that project is now complete and we're in a good space.
We can cover that in the briefing as to how we're going on all those levels of service, because that'll be a good lead into any future LTP discussions.
Okay. And just the final question from me around delivery. Appreciate we've got a lot to do and sometimes we won't be on track for whatever reason. Is there a communications process to let people know when things are delayed? I'm just interested in what the thought process is where things are falling behind, how we communicate that to communities or to residents or businesses that are impacted by the delays. Is there a standard procedure that we have?
By things, do you mean levels of service or capital projects? Or both?
So it would basically be around capital projects that slip in terms of the end date. We had a local issue where something, was given a time frame, didn't meet it, given another time frame, didn't meet it. But it was only on the day that it was supposed to be complete that people found out that it was being delayed yet again. And I'm just wondering if there's
Is that something we
comms plan in
can
place
take away as well?
around just keeping people informed
So
ahead of the delay.
Yanni. So what you're saying basically is we put a capital plan in place, but then when we aren't hitting the milestones to deliver that whole capital plan, how are we communicating those delays?
So if there's local projects that are slipping,
Yep.
at what point do we notify the elected members or the community or the businesses that are impacted on the road works or the sewer works
I think
that, hey, sorry,
what might be
it's
useful
going
is
to
to
be,
come back.
there's going to be another.
Let's come back. Okay, I'm keen to
Yeah.
get this moving.
Okay,
So I've got
thanks.
Kelly and then Aaron. We've got another question, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, I'm sure there's an obvious answer, but I just wonder, Pete, if you could look at page 25 for the activity of technical services and design. The overall level of service forecast is 33% at the moment. Am I missing something there? It's
I think we have canvassed this before. TSD has a very small number of levels of service, and one of them I don't believe is about their actual service, but is about an IT issue. And that has because they have very few as a denominator, that IT issue, has a big impact on their overall result. Now, I can find the detail for you, but I don't, and Brent might have the detail right now.
Yep. Yes, you're correct, Peter. TSD have 3 levels of service, and 2 of them are driven by a process in which they record the RFS process, which records the work coming in and the work going out. And with transitioning to some of the new, I think it was SharePoint last year, either transitioning to it or away from it, I can't remember which, there was an issue with being able to track that work, and so we didn't meet the milestones. So there's been a lot of effort gone into that. It's their levels of service around tracking their productivity. Okay. So that's all it is. But you fail 1, you're down to 66%.
Yeah.
You fail 2, you're down to 33. So it's when you're looking at percentages, you've got to look at it in the context of the overall.
yeah, great, thanks.
Yeah, this is another one that Bede might be able to come back on, but it was on that chart again on page 12, the Sustainable Economic Development at $15.5 million. It'll be good to know what that's spent on, and is that for internal, is it for council's economic, or is it this external, is this us telling other people what they do and how they do it? Because I don't know what that means, and if you look up a definition of it, it's a pretty wishy-washy answer on Google. But
That activity is in part delivered by, or in the main delivered by CNZ. So that's the economic development stuff that CNZ does.
So that is part of their budget, that 15 million?
Well, the budget is actually set by council in this activity, and then budget is transferred over to CNZ.
So
from
all
here.
of that 15.7 goes to CNZ?
Yeah, I'd say nearly all, yes.
Right, okay, cool. it'll be good to know what they're spending it on. That part, the
We've got-
breakdown.
We've got
Yes.
the annual report coming up.
Yeah.
So,
Cool,
yeah.
thank you.
Okay, cool. So the mayor's happy to move this, and Jake looks like he's happy to second it. All in favour? Against? That's carried. Thank you very much, Peter.
Cheers.
Okay, can we move to item 7, the financial